nationals and sales directors only. And it's usually the last Friday of the month. But we're doing a special one on September 13th in honor of our 62nd anniversary. And for those of us in Central Standard Time, it will be early, so feel free to come with no makeup. Or at least 8:30 on a Saturday is early for me. So 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. I remember doing muffins and makeovers every Saturday for decades. And I would tell myself every Saturday as I was moving tables, throwing on tablecloths, doing all the setup, I would say to myself, one day, I will not need to do this, and I can sleep in on a Saturday. And I can't imagine how that's going to feel, but it's going to be great. And for now, this is great too. So, you may have already big plans. I hope you do. 13 faces that day, 62 faces that day, hold an event with your people, hold a virtual event with your people, create a start. But if you would like to, at 8:30, and I'll make sure I post it in all the Boxer groups, and because I don't have it memorized, it's Karen Rydell's Zoom. Also, just as I'm just throwing this out there, Karen has invited us all to fast, either leading up to that day or at some part of that day. And fasting does not have to mean food. So the reason I say that is, if you thought of something when I said the word fast, whatever you thought of may be the thing God is inviting you to fast from for a few hours. So if you thought of your favorite Netflix or scrolling or shopping, whatever it may be, it might be food, but certainly it would probably hurt none of us to miss a couple meals. But blessed that we are here in America. But just consider that. So then the other thing is, if those of you that participated in the vision workshop that we did in early July, did anybody participate in that? So it was this group of nationals that I'm in. There's only 13 of us. How perfect, right? And it's a book club that Diana Sumter invited all the nationals to be part of over a year ago. And I was kind of late to the game. They were midway through the first book when the Lord was like, hey, no, I meant it. You need to reach out. And it has been the greatest gift to me. As a matter of fact, Jill Davis, National Jill, just joined our group. And she called me yesterday and she goes, I have never, including church, been in a group that is this transparent about who they really are and the things they struggle with. So I want you to know that those are your leaders, So that vision workshop came from the Andy Stanley book, Visioneering. And so we had 6 nationals share for the directors in the morning, 6 share for the consultants in the evening, and it was a great kickoff to the new year. Well, it's going to be a version of like a New Year's kickoff on December 27th. Is that a Saturday? If anybody has a calendar.
Yes, it is.
Yes, December 27th. So directors will always be first because, of course, you're in the position, right? And we want you to know that you've heard everything, right? So that you listen in to the consultant one also if you want to. So I don't know the times, but yours would be like, let's pretend 9 a.m. and theirs is 11. Something like that. So I'll get you the flyer. They're finishing the flyer now. And in case you want to just have something virtual at the end of December so that people aren't waiting till January 1st to start thinking about who they want to be when they grow up, okay? So that's just totally free announcement things. Okay, also just a couple of practical things. This is not the cute one that's floating around, but the 15% increase chart is what this is. So I know that Ray probably, Laprita, they have one probably that has Switzerland all over it, and it's beautiful, and it's about this big and everything. So feel free to send that to me too, because this is the one I keep with me. But I just want to refer you to this because we need to, we have our tools in our tool belt that we've learned from today, from other review teachings. Sometimes though, we need to remind ourselves we might be doing better than we thought. So, if you had a $5,200 July, you are still officially on target for a circle. Woo! And when the enemy is mouthing off, you need to put your face in here, because this is what I know. Now, I personally don't really want to do an $80,000 June. I mean, I'd rather just be ahead of the game, but that's my personality style. I'm not the girl that gets the adrenaline rush. I mean, I do get an adrenaline rush at the end, but it's not because I haven't worked consistently. I want it to be peaceful. I want to be like LaFrida. Y'all come over and have a party at midnight because we're already done. So go ahead and come at 9 p.m., whatever. So I'm just referring you to that. And then I also wanted to refer you, since some of you didn't catch the workshop, to your vision book. And if you don't have one, it's high time. We're already 2 months into the seminar year, starting the 3rd month. Oh, look, Patty has hers. And I told y'all, I go nowhere without this. It's like my Bible, except that now my Bible's on my phone, I mean, well, the one I use in church. Do y'all have like the big Bible you use at home, and then the Bible on your phone you use in church? Yeah. So, and if you did your vision book last year, it's time to upgrade. So I thought I would show y'all a couple upgrades. One upgrade was unexpected. Michelle Hendrickson gave me one of her pages from her vision book. And so then Mary just gave me, there's Mary, just gave me one of hers, which is so fun because then you can, also, there's Michelle's, you are totally able to see how the goals all intertwine. Intersect was what I was looking for. So that's been an upgrade. But just to show you a couple of other things, like I took a picture of just really good-looking, classy girls, all different. These are our sassy new reds, right? And the other thing I did, y'all know I love Louis Vuitton. Doesn't matter, we're not judging me. This picture, and they all have their Louis Vuitton luggage, is our directors that are packing in their matching Louis Vuittons for their top director trip this seminar year. So that I can envision how fun that's going to be. What surprises am I going to send with them? This is a representative of 5 new first line and at least 6 new second line. And I like the way the women look. So these are not just, oh, there's a girl's face, I'll cut that out. Or print it from Pinterest. So I'm saying all that to say, because I think it's so important that we know. Danny came in this past week and he said, I have something for your vision book. Oh. And this is what it is. So I don't know if you know what this is. Oh, yes. In New York City. Just came back from there. It's the brand new Louis Vuitton hotel.
Oh, holy cow.
Oh, let us upgrade you.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Picture of that.
Lord.
Send it to you. We just came back from New York.
I love it. I love it. And of course, the first one was built in Paris. Well, I sent it to my girlfriend that dresses me. Most of y'all know her, Kim, because she loves Louis Vuitton as much as I do. And she was like, "Girls trip. Okay, when are we going to start saving? How much are we putting back? It has to be for the spa, the shopping, the all the things. You got to think it through so you get an accurate." When I saved for our trip to Paris for Claire Grace's high school graduation, we got there, everything was paid for, and then the family wanted to go out to eat. High that I am. It's the first time it dawned on me, I go, there's no money for food. I paid for everything. I didn't even think about food. Which is even funnier because Danny's always saying, is food on the list for today anywhere? Because you'll know how passionate we get. And we get to eat at some point. So anyway, when Danny overheard us, he was like, no girls trip. Couples trip. So anyway, I haven't printed out, but I haven't done all my math on the margins, right? Like Stacey was talking about, if you don't have blanks to fill in, it really lets your imagination go wild. So even just silly things that, it doesn't matter a hill of beans to the Lord if I go to the Louis Vuitton hotel ever, except if it matters to me. Right? And so, whatever that is, there's a hotel in Canada I've always wanted to go to, and Danny and I looked at it for our anniversary this year, and we could eke it out again with no food. Because I'm not the girl that wants to pay for it later. Like, I want it all saved on the front end, and then I'm just enjoying and having fun and all the things. And so we started figuring out, gosh, if we just put it off 1 year, we could still do a little mini somewhere this year, but we could really do it the way we want to next year. So that's on my goal poster for tomorrow, is to print out that hotel. So I just want to encourage you in your dreams, but just like Stacey talked about with her granddad, that was the best visual. I hope you all just take it and share that, even just that story with people. Because if you haven't done that yet with your Mary Kay dreams, that is a vital part of your leadership. And the most important person for you to lead is you. So I can remember seeing those women walk down that, and of course I'm in the past I could be clumsy. And so the idea of walking in heels down a series of staircase steps without the gentleman would not have sounded good to me. But I thought they won't, even if I fell, they're gonna like catch me if I slip or whatever. And so having that ring, and this is what I teach my people. I took that picture of that ring, it was taped to my flip chart. I didn't care if we were having a facial, an on the go, a sharing appointment, you were gonna hear about that ring because it was part of your ring. Because there was no way I could earn that ring without you. Whether it was your face, your hostess, you being willing just to support me in prayer and cheer me on every once in a while. And I can remember when the air conditioner went out in my car, and my former person's great idea was that we wouldn't fix the air conditioner, so that I would go ahead and take advantage of the Mary Kay free card. Now, he had only mildly tolerated Mary Kay up to that point, until he could see that there was a benefit to his wallet, right? So I was so mad at him. I was like, I'm gonna show you. I don't know if I was gonna earn the car or if I was not gonna earn the car, but I was fixing to show him something because I was so mad. And so what I started doing, y'all, again, every facial, every coffee shop, every party, I would have people get up from the table and say, come over to the window with me. I just need to come to the window, and I'd be holding my flip chart, because remember there used to be a picture of the green man in the flip chart. And so we'd all go to the window, and I'd say, what do you see when you look out the window? And they're like, a white Nissan. And I'm, oh God, okay, no. I knew we might be having trouble. And I'd open that flip chart, and I'd say, this is what I need you to help me see at that curve. This is the first car that Mary Kay allows us to earn the use of for free. And my air conditioner's not working in my car. And so I'm highly motivated. And really this car is gonna be your car. So here's my promise to you. When we earn it in the next 4 months, we are having another party with whatever the new stuff is. And at the end of the party, I'm treating all of you to Starbucks or Sonic, whichever you prefer. And we're going in our new car to enjoy our snacks. Y'all, that is how you enroll somebody in a dream, right? Have any of you ever sensed that a consultant was resisting you?
No.
Because God has blessed us as leaders with intuition. I've learned this from Stacy and from Deb. We should trust it. It is a gift. So I can't tell you how many times, because sometimes as leaders, what do we do? She is just not listening to me. I'm just not even calling her. I'll just write her a note. That would do that.
Give it away.
And so, one of the things I've learned is, I remember I was sitting at this cute little lunch place, and we're having this delightful conversation, my consultant and I, and we've talked about everything she wants to talk about. And finally I just said, in complete honesty, I said, if I may, just be honest. I have a pressing question, and I could be misreading the situation. So that's always good to do, right? So that they're not feeling defensive or pressured. But she was like, what is it? And I said, again, call me crazy. I feel like I'm sensing a hint of resistance from you regarding Tingle. Which is, of course, the only way we can get to your dream of directorship. Because she'd already shared that was her dream. And she began to tell me all the reasons why. And I listened, and I said, so now that we know all the reasons why we are resisting, would we want to not do that anymore? Or do we want to remain committed to that particular path? Because I'll still try to lead you closer to your goal, but I need to be upfront with you and let you know there's only so much I can do if at every turn you're putting the brakes on, which I want to honor. If that's just where you are right now, it's no problem. We can revisit this later. And it was so hard. She was a high D, and it was so hard for her. But she finally, by the end of that, she's like, I don't know why I'm so committed to my own resistance, except that it feels safer than believing God. That's a big revelation. And of course, there were tears, and we know this from Mary Kay. Anytime we get somebody to that point that the emotion is coming out of their eyeballs, it's a good place for them, right? And so so that has happened many times in my. As a matter of fact, it just happened yesterday. Is why it's so on my mind. I recruited this woman to drive a pink Cadillac, and when we had our first interview together on the phone, she said, "I just want you to know I'd be coming in to drive a pink Cadillac. I'd be coming in to make a difference. I'd be coming in to lead other women." I was like, awesome, because I can already tell that's where your gifting is. She was a teacher for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. Well, same thing has happened. We have 2 team members for her, and you'd think you'd want to get your red jacket, right? Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, so yesterday I said to her, no, that's not true. 2 coaching calls ago, I had said that to her. She goes, I know, I do, I feel it too. I feel myself resisting when you talk to me about team building. Well, yesterday when we talked, we were talking about what type of woman would she want. Stacey James, emotionally healthy, or mentally healthy, emotionally stable, financially able, ambition, want to be part of the team, want to have fun, want to win. And she goes, well, now that you say that, Cece is who I want on my team. I was like, tell me more about Cece. Well, she's been battling cancer, but let me tell you what she does for a living. And let me tell you about her. And she said, I can't tell you how many of our meeting Zooms I've sent to Cece. She loves you. She would follow you anywhere. We need to talk to Cece. And I said, you know what, Cece? You know who she is? And she goes, well, who is she? And I said, she is who your pink Cadillac dream team is going to look like. I need you to keep Cece front and center. That's who we're looking for. And she's like, I'm not waiting for you. I'm talking to her tomorrow.
Great.
I said, excellent.
Done.
So sometimes we need to help tie them. Patricia's not excited about being a red jacket. She has made a lot of money in her lifetime. She's single. She is happy that way. She loves Jesus. But she knows what she wants. And so even in the midst of that conversation, she goes, now that we're talking about this, I don't want to live in my beautiful house anymore. Because the other neighbors have not kept their houses beautiful. And I drove through a neighborhood a couple of days ago that I wanted to live in. And there was a for sale sign. Oh. So since I'm going to drive a pink Cadillac, I need to go ahead and look at that house. So I'm going to call.
Wonderful.
And I was like, this sounds like an upgrade. So this whole story was me inviting you to upgrade. What are your dreams? And then I want to ask you, what do you really want? Because, usually we have that thing. I want this. But if I ask you, what do you really want? What do you really want? If God just said, give me the list, sugar. Give me the list. I want to see the real list. What would really be on the list? And I want to tell you, Deb could testify that my red jacket team looked like rescue parachute save the dying. And that is how they performed. They performed accordingly. And now they were always willing to hold a party if I was coming to help them. So that was no problem, and I could bring guests of my own. But they were the ambitious part is what they were missing, right? Supportive, team players, love Jesus, but nothing much else past that for Mary Kay business. And I don't even know if Deb will remember this, but I told Deb, I need to see what that girl would look like. Because in my own mind at that time, I did not look like that woman that I would want to have on my team. You know how we know ourselves? We're like, oh God, no, really, I'm a hot mess. I'd really like an upgrade from me. And so this girl that I was supposed to bring with at Baylor, she and I had stayed in touch. And I didn't end up going to Baylor. Should have gone to Baylor because I didn't go to Baylor because I married the other person. But that's okay. We got Clark and Claire out of it. And so anyway, we reconnected. And we ended up having a facial. And this woman is all that in a bag of chips. She actually was Miss Texas. And so just think about that. All the grooming, the content, being a contestant all the times you need to. The practicing of your skills, your talents, the learning how to walk, learning how to dress, blah, 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 all the things. So Amy, I just knew she was going to be a director. She joined my team at the end of her facial, and we were at Rena's old training center, and you remember I had that smallest little room, which didn't matter in the beginning because it was me and stuffed animals that were having it. Because I knew I needed an audience. Anybody else? And so I brought my own stuffed animals and invited my own guests. And I would say, Petunia the pig, y'all, she has shared with 3 people this week. She has earned her. Give it up for Petunia. And the guests would clap with me, and I would turn the boombox music on. Because who was I creating a vision for? Me. So do you know, in 4 months or maybe less, there was standing room only in that small training center room, and people were lined up in the hall leaning in to try to hear. That was a vision. Okay, so Amy was recruited during this time. She comes walking in through the bodies. Some people even sat. They just sat like English side settle wise on the floor so that they could be in the room but sitting. And she's like walking over to the humans and comes to the front to hear Mary Kay again. But when she walked through that door, when she turned the corner, my first thought was, that is exactly the way I want my dream team to look. I want them to carry themselves with confidence. I want them, y'all, she only thrifted. She never shopped at a Neiman's or anything else. But she looked like $1,000,000. So do you see how, again, taking off all the labels, and her heart was for Jesus. And she did not stay in Mary Kay long, but she went straight to work for Zig Ziglar and shared the stage with him. And then the Lord took her home at a very early age. So she actually passed before Zig did. But do you see how, when she told me she was going to work for Zig, I was like, Lord, do you see how right I was? I mean, totally. She could have been international, you know. But totally, I know she was following his footsteps for her. So I just wanted to help you maybe upgrade a little bit, because if we remain committed to our own limitations, well, nobody in my family's going and stayed at that kind of hotel. Well, nobody in my family, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't know anybody who. And if you are around other sales director or people that talk about other people, I'm just going to tell you right now, those are not your people. No. Those are not your people.
No.
I can tell you the times I heard Deb Miller walk up, or saw her walk into a circle of me, and she said, who are y'all talking about? Like as though she were going to participate. Susie. Really? She's my best friend. What are we saying? She'd just stand there and smile. The circle would dissipate. Right? She never scolded. I never saw Deb Miller scold or shame anyone. She just was her honest self. So, okay. Because I need to give the mic that we don't have really back to Stacey. But I wanted to close with, this was actually something Stacey said to me yesterday in our Zoom time. who needs blanks to fill in, right? So actually we were talking about somebody else, and I was requesting, wise counsel. And this question came up that I thought, oh God, we have to tell everybody this question so that we can learn to ask it ourselves. So I'm not going to look at this person, but I had someone say to me in this room, well, I'm just in a season of, put the word, struggle, lack, a slower season. Put in a word that you don't really love, okay? Because we've all probably said something. Stacey's question to me was, who told you that? Who told you that's the season you're in? Isn't that a powerful question?
They said you were in that season?
No,
Oh, okay.
like they said they were.
Okay.
So what if I had said to that woman in that moment, I was like, oh, there's a question that would really apply right now in this moment, if I could just remember my notes. So that's how I went back to my, but what if I had said to her, who told you that? Now sometimes we might what? Argue for our position. Nobody needed to tell me. I saw it on In Touch. And I deposited not in my bank account, right? From my commission check. And we can start being the lawyer that's against ourselves instead of the one that's for us, right? So if you really think about it though, who told me I'm in a season of blank? I would submit to you, it is either the enemy or certainly your smaller self. Not your highest self in the way that God has created. And the only, the crazy thing about God is He can't see our smallness. Shanti used to say, Joy, would you please Quit trying to fit a 16 by 20 portrait in a 3 by 5 aluminum frame. You were not meant to be this small. Why are you so committed to it? I'm so tired of your sad story. Could you just think of one part of your success story you could share with me? Another famous Sean Key. There is no possible way, statistically speaking, that you can have 200 of the wrong people. If we just want to be scientific about it, right? Don't you love him? Oh my gosh, so many great Sean Keyisms. So, that question, and of course you can use it in your coaching of other two. Who told you that? Well, I just can't recruit. Well, nobody's booking. Who told you that? Well, I've been making calls. How many? Well, I thought about making 10. I texted 2. Oh, guess what? You're working on false information, right? So I just think sometimes the simplest things are the most powerful if we allow them to lead us back to God's truth. If God told it to you, that's a whole different situation. But I would be willing to bet if we're arguing for lack or struggle or slow, it was not the Lord God that told you that.